Another day of Commanders training camp is officially in the books. Now, today was a little bit different. I believe they were just one day away from the start of joint practices. So today was definitely more of a walkthrough, a less intense type of practice. But don't worry, tomorrow is going to be insane, and we're going to cover it here for you guys. Now, before we get into this video and talk about some breaking news we got with the depth chart, make sure you guys do me a favor and just go follow all of the Commanders media members on X right now, because I guarantee you, one, you will not regret it. I mean, sometimes I'll be scrolling through my feed and it feels like I'm literally at practice, even though I'm at home, right? So go follow them. You will not regret it. And as well, without them, these videos aren't really possible to make. So let's get into a little bit of today's news and notes. But again, like I said, we're gonna have a big thing to talk about a little bit later on into the video. Now, the first thing to take note of was, again, very light practice. Nothing too much happened, outside of a few really good plays here and there. One, I think Zach Ertz is becoming a guy who is going to get a ton of opportunity in this offense pretty much right away. The connection that he has already built, with Jayden Daniels has been, far and away one of the most impressive things I've seen from camp so far. And he's pretty much a safety valve for him at this time. And, I'm wicked excited to see how he fits into the offense and how they utilize him from the jump. Right today, he had a nasty one-handed catch along the sideline against Jeremy Reeves in coverage. And then we saw a really nice one, a diving catch by Bryce Tremaine. That was, a really good one as well, but did leave the field a little bit shooken up. Don't know the severity of that injury, but I'm pretty sure he will be fine. Brandon Coleman is another guy who's been really good at practice so far, but was not participating in today's. Look for him to be back tomorrow. We also heard a lot from the coaching staff, but before we, hear about that, I did want to, go through and break down the big news of the day. Guys, the Commanders released their first unofficial depth chart. Now, I don't really know why it's quote-unquote unofficial when they officially dropped it, but whatever it may be, they did, which means we get to kind of take a look at who these starters are going to be. Now, as you watch some film or highlights from today's and yesterday's practice, I'm going to just go through some of the depth charts. So, guys, the starting quarterback, Jayden Daniels, man. Jayden Daniels has already surprised a lot of people, especially Dan Quinn. I mean, Dan Quinn came out and actually said, something really good about Jayden Daniels, talking about, man, his readiness, his he surpassed my expectations already at this point, is basically what he said, and just likes the way he can command this offense. So Jayden Daniels has been insanely productive so far at camp and has already shown on the first depth chart. Now, they are having two running back sets on the depth chart, so they list Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler as co-starters, with Chris Rodriguez Jr. and Jeremy McNichols as the main backups. Obviously, Marcus Mariota, the backup quarterback. And then when you get to the wide receiver room, it's very what you would expect in terms of Terry McLaurin at the 1, and then you got Zacchaeus, and then Jahan Dotson as a 2 and 3, and then from there, Diami Brown, Luke McCaffrey, and Jamison Crowder, with Kashmir Allen actually making an appearance with the third team, which is really good to see. He's obviously made a great impression and is above some really good guys here: Davion Davis, Byron Pringle, Marcus Jackson, Mitchell Tinsley. So definitely above some guys on the depth chart here. Zach Ertz is number 1, and then you have John Bates as the number 2 tight end, with Ben Sinnott and Amari Rogers as the number 3. So that is very interesting. Before we get any further into the breaking news of today's video, make sure you guys do me a favor and comment down below what is the most surprising thing that you've seen from the depth chart. But also make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and we will be covering the Commanders throughout the entirety of the offseason, every single training camp practice, 1, but 2, and more importantly, we're going to be streaming their preseason football games. So if you want to go and watch the game with me this weekend, go follow my Twitch. The link will be in the description, or you can find it at Matty Dubs with 3 S's. Man, I cannot wait for this weekend. It's going to be such a good time. We're going to break down some film. We're going to watch the game, and we're going to, kind of just react to it together. So make sure you guys follow the Twitch. And lastly, we're going to be doing some all 22 coaches film breakdown when the season does start as well. So if you guys want unlimited Commanders content, you know how to get it. So make sure you guys join the family. Now, offensive line, Brandon Coleman, starting left tackle. Cornelius Lucas, the backup left tackle. Nick Allegretti, Tyler B., Sam Cosmi, and Andrew Wiley fill out your offensive line. But then you get to the defensive side of things. We also have some more interesting things to note here. So let's start off with the secondary, because this is probably where the biggest question marks were happening. And right now, they have Mike Sanders still at starting slot corner. They have Bannerman St. Juste on the outside, as well as Michael Davis, which leaves Noah Igbinoghene, Emmanuel Forbes, and Tariq Castro-Fields all as the number 2s right now. And then the safety position is really interesting as well. So Jeremy Chin is a starter, not really too surprising in my eyes. But then you have Quan Martin as the other starting free safety, with Jeremy Reeves and Derek Forrest being your main backups. Again, Derek Forrest is a guy I thought could be a starter this year, but right now it looks like Quan Martin is a guy that they highly believe in. So we'll see what happens with that. Linebackers, you got Dante Fowler as an edge rusher, which is actually something I like. I thought they would move him more as an end, but with his development, with his progression, I feel like he is actually a pretty good edge rusher. You got Bobby Wagner, Jordan McGee in the middle, and then Frankie Louvu, Anthony Pittman on the outside as well. You as your defensive ends, who are going to be on the ground in a typical 4-3 defense, will be Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Farrell, as well as Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen on the interior. Now, with that being said, some backups. Jamin Davis is a backup outside linebacker, an edge rusher, but I also think they could use him on the inside as well in certain points. You have Jerzon Noon as a backup D tackle, John Ridgway, KJ Henry, and Javante Jean-Baptiste as well. I feel like the biggest surprise right now would probably be Derek Forrest being a backup defensively. And we'll see what happens with Emmanuel Forbes. In terms of the return game, Noah Igbinoghene, the former Auburn and I believe second-round pick of the Dolphins, maybe potentially, he will be a kick returner alongside Kashmir Allen with the first team. And then Jamison Crowder, Jahan Dotson are your 2 punt returners. But with that being said, today was not a crazy practice. Just good to see a little bit of them install and getting ready for tomorrow's practice. So tomorrow's going to be really fun to see. Cliff Kingsbury came out and said, hey, yes, Jayden Daniels will be sliding a ton. So let's hope he's, accurate when he says that. Joe Witt Jr. says he's just easing the team into things. He wants to see how good they are in terms of tackling and getting pressure on the quarterback, and then he's going to start implementing some really good things into the defense. So it's probably going to be very vanilla during their first preseason game, so keep that in mind. Witt said Sanders still has the command of the star position on defense. Be very communicative, very a guy who already seems like a veteran. So that is very good to see. What else did we see? Brandon Coleman, starter. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Not too much today from today's practice. So make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next Commanders update, which should be tomorrow. Peace.